Good afternoon everyone, I'm Gary Martin and today I popped down to see one of the pros down at Tankersley Park Golf Club where we're going to have a little bit of a sneak peek in his workshop while he's doing a club repair. We're going to be talking a little bit about golf shafts. So here we are, we've got Sam again. You've seen Sam on the channel before. How you doing, Sam?
Good, guys, how are you?
How's the workshop looking?
The workshop is busy at the minute.
It's busy.
Plenty of orders in.
What you been up to?
Actually, today I've been building my own driver.
Oh, that sounds interesting. It must have a good shaft in it.
Yeah, we've put an old favourite back in. It's the PVD Hulk, similar to one of the shafts we saw in the last video, actually, the tight list.
And what would that cost? I'm guessing
shaft,
it's crazy.
Yeah, you're looking at £350 just for the shaft.
Just for the shaft?
Yeah.
You're an absolute madhead. So what sort of shaft do you sell down here then?
So, any exotic shaft that you want, I'll try and get for you and put obviously in your set of clubs. We're doing quite a lot at the minute of the KBS Custom Series and the irons. You know, they do a matte white, the black. Obviously people see Matt Wallace playing the wedge shafts now, all black in his new colourways. So that's been a big sell.
Just bear me a sec, I'm just going to come round and join you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just be a second. So I'm quite interested, Sam, to know what sort of golfers is it low handicap golfers that are coming to see you?
Any golfer really, because obviously you get someone, say an 18 handicap golfer, he sees Matt Wallace with his black wedge shafts, he goes, right, I'd love them shafts myself.
And is that just for sort of personal pleasure?
Yeah,
and
absolutely, it's just cosmetic.
Yeah.
So you could go with something cosmetic as the wedge shafts, or you could say one of my members here goes down to American Golf down the road and he's bought a set of irons off the rack, he's hit them in the net, decided that really he's not getting on with them.
Yeah.
So I can go out, take him on the range, have a look at him and see what the shafts are doing.
Yeah.
And they could be completely different to what he actually needs. So then it could be something as going and saying, right, this is my recommendation. I'd remove his old shafts, put him the new shafts in that I've ordered for him, and then he's got something that really works.
And from your experience, I mean, is there any sort of common occurrences with people with shafts? That, you know, what do they tend to get wrong when they're buying shafts?
A lot of people, when they buy shafts nowadays, people go too stiff.
Yeah.
So they'll go and they'll go, right, yeah, I need a stiff shaft because I hit the driver really hard.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you hit the driver really hard, but you're not making the connection, the club face isn't squaring up,
Yeah.
you know, the spin's not working for you, there's numerous different things.
And this is where talking to someone like Sam, who's got quite a lot of experience fitting shafts, is really useful, because I've come in today to see Sam, pulled his driver out of his bag, and I said to you, didn't I? I said, I thought you'd be using an extra stiff.
Yeah.
And he's not. He's using a stiff, but you've tipped it, haven't you?
Yeah. So in my driver shaft, it's the Hazardous Hulk PVD green in the 6.0 60 grams. So all my irons I play extra stiff, wedges are extra stiff, fairway wood's extra stiff. But in the driver I struggle to be able to shape the ball from right to left with the extra stiff shaft. So when I put the stiff in, I'll then tip that, which tipping is taking an amount off the bottom end of the shaft.
Yeah.
Which makes a shaft stiffer.
Yeah.
So I'll tip it between an inch and a quarter just to get that little bit more control, and then the weighting works better for my game. It's just something that we've progressed.
Does that help you? Time. Is the weighting to help you square the head?
Yeah, it's just to help me square the head and where the shaft kicks. You know, it just works.
So that's quite interesting then, isn't it? That you've made that shaft play more. You know,
play stiffer,
play stiffer, and it's not like an off-the-shelf shaft that you've tweaked it.
Yeah, it's just something that you persevere with.
So these are little extra things, guys, that obviously behind the scenes, you know, your pros and your custom fitters can do to even fine-tune a fine-tuned shaft, as you could say.
But that's how far you can go with it. You know, if you go, it's exactly like I say. I know you use American Golf as a broad spectrum. We have quite a lot. Obviously, it's only the next junction down the motorway here for us.
Yeah.
So quite a few of our members will go in and go, okay, that's a great deal. You know, I've seen a set of, for example, I know they're selling the G400s off cheap at the minute.
Yeah.
So they're now 2 series as old. But they'll go in, try them in the net, and they'll think, okay, I'm getting 5 more yards than I am with my current irons.
Yeah.
Well, 5 more yards is all right if you're not hitting it 20 yards offline.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, so I think to sort of summarise this, you know, you've got your custom fittings which you can get in your retailers, but then you've also got you know, I would say this is more of a specialist custom fitting, where you're taking that custom fitting even further.
Absolutely.
And fine tuning them shafts, you know, even more to suit your game.
It's all about misses, isn't it?
You
Golf
can't
is
get
a game
that.
of misses.
You can't get that from a retailer, can you? No,
No,
that's only
not
a
at all.
custom fit specialist. So what are you going to be doing today then?
So today I've got a customer in that brought one of his old shafts and he just wants a tip changing. So we've already removed the old tip from his shaft, and we're just going to install the Titleist tip to go in his new TSI.
Is this something that people could do at home? What would you say?
I would recommend trusting your professional.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people try and re-grip to cut costs, but
Yeah.
I get a lot of instances where people now, like I said with the shafts before, you get a lot of fakes, you get a lot
Yeah.
of fake grips, you know, they don't stay on. When you re-grip it in your garage, are your eyes as good as someone that does it every day?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Do you know what, guys? These are very good points, and I'd be a hypocrite if I said, and you guys will know this if you follow my channel, you know, in lockdown I did try to do a bit of a home guide on re-gripping, but I think you made some great points there, because it's something we do every day.
Yeah, you take it in your example. It's, you know, if, for example, your car, if you take your car in for new brakes, mechanics will go, oh yeah, you could have done that yourself.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know where to start with a set of brakes, would you?
No. So yeah, it's something that might be quite easy to us, and we can provide a guide. It's not actually that easy when you get down to doing it,
No,
is it?
It's so easy to even. I had a gentleman in last week actually that's re-gripped his driver.
Yeah.
And obviously seen on, I know Golf Pride do a guide on YouTube.
Yeah.
They said obviously put your Stanley knife into the shaft,
Oh no.
work downwards, and he's, unluckily for him, he's got graphite irons.
Yeah.
And he's split all 7 shafts.
Oh wow. Nightmare. He needed a hook blade then.
The hook blade.
You can't get all information on YouTube, can you?
No, not well.
So how long is it going to take to put this tip on?
So we've pretty much prepared the shaft anyway. I don't know if you can see there, guys. We've already filed most of the end. So we're going to get it on the grinder and just obviously clear the last bit of.
So prep wise,
yeah,
is there anything you would advise? Prep wise, if you're gonna try this at home,
Yeah.
there's always going to be somebody in there. There's always going to be one of you guys out there that's going to try this, regardless of what we tell you.
No, everyone does it. So prep as a shaft. If you get a shaft through, they will come through looking something like this, where you come through with the ceramic all around the end.
So it's ceramic all the way to the end, there like that. But you guess you can't glue it, can you?
If you glue that straight onto the tip, it'll set and it'll stay with the epoxy for, you might get a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
As soon as you start hitting golf shots, if you think you're swinging a golf club, the average golfer swing speed's what, 85 miles an hour?
Yeah.
It's not going to last long.
It's not going to last long.
You need a rough surface to keep the glue, obviously, bonding as well as it can. So that's why we'll file the end and get the finish off. Obviously, we do this to be under the ferrule.
Yeah.
So it still looks all nice for you golfers.
So I guess you could masking tape it up,
Yeah,
leave
absolutely.
the amount that you need, and then sort of...
So if we're looking at sort of the Titleist adapter to go onto the shaft there. So if we look, we've got space for maybe another 3/4 of an inch where we're going to file and just get that to be as rough as we can. So if I go ahead and I'd put it on the grinder in my little workshop, I know we'd probably use safety goggles at home.
And this, I guess, is where the experience comes in, isn't it, Sam?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, because you do this every day, you know, you don't need the tape.
I've seen many people actually press too hard with the grinder. You've got to think that the grinder's going round at, well, says here the grinder's going around at 175 miles an hour.
Yeah.
If you think you're pressing a flat surface up against 175 miles an hour,
yeah,
it takes 2 seconds to go straight through the shaft.
And then you've tipped it.
So like that, yeah, you've tipped it. So like there, we're all ready to now epoxy the head onto the shaft. So, got the adapter.
What about tip sizes? Where can people find out what tips they need?
So, as far as tips needing, you can look, Golf WRX are pretty good for stuff like this now.
Golf WRX?
WRX, yes. Obviously they do a lot of the pre-release stuff for the companies, but they have a lot of information and specifications on the website for each brand.
Right.
So, the old shafts now, I mean, it mainly switched probably 2012 when they went from the TaylorMade R11S to, it would have been the RBZ.
Yeah.
They originally had they had a 270 diameter.
Right.
Which is your old adapters. I don't know if I'll have any of these left. I may have an old one there actually. So that's the old R11 adapter where it's 370.
I remember these.
So you can't physically fit the new 335 shafts in there.
No.
But you can't fit them into the new tailgate.
So basically, the tip size of the driver shafts have got thinner.
Yeah, it's got thinner. Yeah.
And why is that then? Or is it?
It's a very good question.
Yeah.
If I was to hazard a guess, obviously the hybrids still stay at the 370 tip size.
Yeah.
So the 335, I think, is just for the adaptability, because you can only move those 1.5 degrees. And now we've progressed to everything for 2 degrees from there on.
Right.
So I assume the thinner tip diameter would then give you more playability, so you could adjust the adapter to be upright, flat, or, 1 degree of loft, 1 degree off loft.
That's
and just build it from there. I think that'd be the way that they've gone with it.
Excellent.
So anything from there.
So Golf WRX guys, if you choose a brand of shaft that you like and then you're wanting to find a tip for it, just make sure that you know what tip size you need.
So you can use any metal epoxy. Don't use plastic if you're going to try it at home.
Right.
'Cause it won't stick. We use the dial. It works just fine for us. It's just a 5-minute epoxy, but then we leave it to cure for probably 2 or 3 hours, just to obviously ensure that it's stuck together. And we always go with a 50-50 mix. So 50% of your bond epoxy and 50% of your hardener.
And how long does this take to set?
So obviously it says on the packet 5 minutes. Don't leave it 5 minutes and go out on the range hitting it, because you may be a head short by the time you've done.
What, do you leave them like half a day or a day?
Yeah, I mean, if I have a customer that's in a rush to get it, I'll give them sort of 6 hours. We've done quite a bit with a couple of the football referees recently.
You're friends with one, aren't you?
Yeah, we've got a couple of the football refs at the minute. I know Martin Atkinson was down here earlier on today, getting a few new shafts for himself.
Yeah, keen golfer is he?
Yeah, keen golfer. He's looking at, I think he may retire at the end of this year, so the golf is coming in more and more now.
A lot of ex-footballers are getting into golf, aren't they?
Absolutely, there's quite a few. I don't know how far your viewers range, but Mark Crossley, that was the goalkeeper at...
I've seen him actually in pub up where I live at Oiland.
Mark obviously is a member up here. A few of the Sheffield Wednesday footballers, Joe Wildsmith comes to see me. Aaron Ramsdale, there was a Sheffield United.
And funny enough, they're already quite good at golf before they retire, so that suspects that they get quite a lot of free time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, after we've mixed the glue, we mix it thoroughly to make sure that everything's bonded together. If you leave it as a 2-piece, it will crack, it won't stay on, and you will lose your golf club again. So, for myself, I'll find that I'll put the epoxy in the adapter first, just to make sure that I've got enough either side. We want to leave no space really for any air to get in there, so I want to make sure as much of the inside of the adapter is covered as I can.
If you're somebody that likes to do these things at home, just stay tuned till the end here, because there's a big mistake that a lot of people make, and it really bugs me, this, Sam.
Does it?
When it comes to lining up, neutral and the shaft decals, I can't stand it. Can you?
As we say things like that, I know we've mentioned that I've done a little bit with Shrixon recently.
Yeah.
And they sent one of my new drivers through with the decal to the front.
No way.
So they sent my driver through like this.
That's horrendous. That is horrendous.
I was very offended.
I know, as a good golfer, I would be absolutely offended by that. Whatever setting you're going to use the driver on, make sure that that's set at the back, so the decals are down and you can't see them.
So as we go now, I put a little bit of glue on the top of the shaft, and I will just slide the ferrule down. A lot of the times people have problems, I know this is with the ping, because they don't do this in the factory.
Yeah.
And they end up with the ferrule coming off.
Coming off. Very common occurrence, isn't it?
So after that we'll just put a little bit more on the top. Make sure there's plenty of glue around. And then I'll just slide the tip on.
Just getting that excess...
Just get the excess glue off.
That's a very nice fit, that. I've seen some really bad jobs, with these in the past where the ferrule and the adapter's not tight together, but that's absolutely perfect. Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there's places that you can go that'll go, oh yeah, we can do that. It's £10.
Yeah.
Perfect. You spent £300 on a driver, and now you're going to spend £10 on an adapter to get it done. And it lasts 3 weeks, it starts to split, and we're away. So as for myself now, and I look with the decal,
Yeah.
obviously we've got very good eyes. For anyone that's struggling, if I grab, a Titleist head back here, I can grab a Titleist head. What I would do is I would put the head on the adapter, and then manoeuvre it to my eyes where the decal is under. Because the glue, obviously, we've got 5 minutes before that sets. Obviously, with eyes being good, I'd just turn it to my preference. So every shaft that I send out as standard, especially for the customer today, will be just set to A1. I'll just give that a little tap. Make sure there's no air bubbles, so the shaft doesn't come off. And we have one adapter.
That's an absolute flush job. And you can tell that Sam's experienced in doing that, because on camera as well, you know, there's that little bit of added pressure, isn't there? This is going to go out to, you know, quite a few thousand people, and, you know, obviously there's a lot of critical people out there, but that is absolutely perfect. We've also got an align grip on these. So, again, this is, you know, if you are going to be switching specs with your adapter, then you need to probably be careful on what grip you put on. But
yeah, there's a lot of people that will put align grips on the woods now.
Yeah.
I have a customer that comes in regularly. Unfortunately for himself, he likes to play with the adapter settings.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't recommend at home either. And he changes his grips every week, because as he turns, I think the only adapter now that doesn't change is the Titleist, and well, the Titleist changes if you move the number, but the Callaway doesn't move. So if you move the TaylorMade, the Shrixon, the Cobra, the line will move in the grip, because you are moving the shaft around the head. Yeah,
I'm going to get really geeky and finish on this point, but you know what I were disappointed to see were Callaway were putting these align grips on their wedges. And you know, when you're playing with wedges and you're opening the club face,
you want to manoeuvre it.
You want to manoeuvre it. You don't want the align in the grip, do you? So I think manufacturers need to be careful with, you know, when they use these grips, because they're great if they're used right.
Yeah.
But
it's amazing how much something can change.
Yeah.
You know, if you move that a degree, say I wanted this in B2 or A2, for example. My position there now, guys, I've got my hands the other side of the shaft.
Yeah.
You know, the align is to my left, it's in the palm of my left hand. I've got a big amount of manoeuvrement there, where the align is doing us a favour in the back.
Yeah.
It's now hindering the golf grip when
and
you're
there'll
there.
be people who watch this channel who'll have a grip where the align's on the side, because they've not changed it. They've changed the setting, not changed the grip. Right, what we got for sale then?
For sale?
Yeah, what we got for sale, because there's all these shafts here, you know, there's got to be a bargain for somebody.
I could give you my old irons, Gary.
There's some old, well, if they're Sam's irons, then this is going to be worth listening to. What are they?
I've got a set of my old Wilsons from last year.
Wilson Staff.
We've just brought these in this morning. These are a split cavity set, so it'd be good for your mid to low handicapper.
So we've got FG Forge W.
The V6.
V6.
It's a V6 and staff model split. So they split at the 7 iron. You've got 456 in the split cavity, 789 wedge in the blade.
Full blade. And we've got, and it's no surprise here, we've got the KBS toe shafts, which are an absolute lovely finish, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a great set of shafts.
In stiff. Are they all standard specs?
Yeah, these are all stiff standard specs. These are my backup irons. These were not the set I played last year. They're just a set that I'd fiddled about with in the meantime.
And what are you looking for these? Delivered, remember?
Yeah, delivered, remember. I would let the right golfer have them at £325.
That's
again, I'd like people to enjoy the golf clubs. I don't want people coming in that are going to go and go, I can make £20 on that.
Yeah.
I want someone that's going to come in, get a good deal, save themselves some money and enjoy the product.
Yeah, I think that's an absolutely fantastic deal. And, you know, shaft-wise, guys, you know, if you've got any questions for Sam, you know, you want to talk to him a little bit about your game, your ball flight, and, you know, you're interested in getting a shaft to try and fine-tune that, then, you know, I'll put Sam's details in there.
Instagram, anything like that, just reach out to me and I'll happily have a chat with you guys.
I'll put all his contact details in there. I'm sure, you know, if you feel like the shaft's hindering you, Sam will have something to try and help you. So, again, I've enjoyed that, guys. I've enjoyed that, Sam. And if you've got any more ideas for content that, you know, you think Sam might be able to help us with, you know, obviously in terms of workshop and the shop here at Tankersley, you know, get in the comments. All right. We'll see you guys in a few days' time. I've enjoyed that one. Bye.